everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is the final Harry Potter Sunday. I am doing Hagrid's birthday cake to Harry today to round things out and just put us all on a good note for Harry Potter's birthday this week. I am taking the recipe for the cake out of this lovely little book right here, but I'm not using the frosting recipe or anything like that, just the actual cake mix, and I'm gonna get started. For anyone following along with the book, there is the recipe for the cake. It does have a glaze and a frosting, and the other frosting, I'm not doing these parts. I'm only doing that, but the whole thing is listed here for you, page 54, and then all the directions on 55. Running through the ingredients: cocoa powder, flour, eggs, butter, brown sugar, regular sugar, baking powder. This is instant coffee, vanilla, and salt. These two items need to come up to room temperature before you can use them, so this does need to soften up until you can poke it and leave a little divot. Then this is ready to use. First thing you're gonna do is prep 2 pans. You're gonna grease and flour them. Preheat your oven back there to 350, and right there you can see my teapot. I'm boiling almost a cup of water because you're gonna need 3/4 of a cup of boiling water in just a minute. Next step, take a bowl, 1 teaspoon of the instant coffee, 1/2 cup of the cocoa powder, 3/4 of a cup of boiling water, and then whisk that together until you've dissolved all the coffee and the chocolate into the water. In another bowl, 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Whisk those together just for a second, and then set this aside. Next step, in a stand mixer, put the 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. Recipe calls dark, I'm using light, and then cream this together. Scrape down the sides of the bowl as you go. That way you get it really nice and smooth in there. Now that the sugars and the butter are creamed together, take your room temperature eggs, add them one at a time, beat it, add another one, beat it, and then don't forget to scrape off the sides as needed. Once all the eggs get mixed in, take a teaspoon of vanilla, add that in, and mix it around some more. Now you're gonna take that chocolate, and you're gonna add that in, scraping it all down to make sure you get all of it in there. And then mix that. Side note before I mix this, if you're worried about the instant coffee, don't be. Instant coffee in chocolate, you won't taste it, but it will make the chocolate so much better. Just trust me. Take your flour mixture, and you're gonna add that in. Okay? And then put this on the slowest speed possible just until everything's combined. Just about like that, and then stop it because you don't want to overmix your batter. Scrape everything down one last good time, mix up from the bottom to make sure there's nothing stuck way down here, and then this is ready to go in your pans. Now just pour your cake evenly into each pan.
Looks yummy.
Then you're gonna put these in a preheated 350-degree oven for 20 minutes. Now, the book very much specifies that this cake, be careful as this cake overbakes easily. Not sure why it's saying that, but just watch the cake carefully. So like I said, I'm not going to use the book icing. I'm not gonna use homemade frosting. I'm just gonna use some of the good old-fashioned jarred stuff because I'm gonna focus more on the color and what the cake looks like. Plus my kids aren't really the biggest fan of homemade frosting, so I'm not gonna go that far. I already did the homemade from scratch cake. I'm gonna let the jar help me out, but I am going for the right color. So it's like this weird, oh, my screen went dark on you. It's like this weird putridy pinkish color, so I'm gonna go for that and focus more on the color. But the cakes are cooling off real fast, and I'm gonna tell you, it smells like brownies in here. It doesn't smell like cake at all. It smells like brownies, and they did not rise. They're only like this tall. So I don't know if that's a normal thing. I'm going to assume it is, but I'm pretty excited because I am a brownie person. I will go ahead and tell you, anytime I use jarred icing, anytime. I put it in my mixer and I beat it for, you know, a good 3 or 4 minutes because this will expand. It changes the color, it changes the texture, it changes everything. This is crazy sweet just like this, and it's very dense. If you put it in your electric mixer, it gives it some air, some volume, it makes the color lighter, and just the flavor is so much better. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do first before I work on coloring these. There we go. So much paler, just fuller, just great. So I'm gonna take some of it, I'm gonna put it in this bowl, and I'm gonna dye it green, and then the rest of it I'm gonna leave in here for the outside color. Gonna try for the green first. Gel food coloring, you use less of it to get a stronger color. And I just want a decent green. I don't want lime green, I want it to look like a green crayon. See, that's way too light. So, in goes some more. There we go. Okay. All right. And that's getting better for the green. And then if you let food coloring sit, it gets a little darker as it sits. Okay, the green I wish was a little darker. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to get that just a little darker, but I don't wanna go too heavy on the food coloring because it will be disgusting. So in here, I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna make the base color. I'm gonna put a little bit of cocoa powder, just a tiny bit in there for one, it'll go better with the chocolate cake. And then I'm going to try some red gel, a little bit of brown gel, and I possibly might be putting this one in there. It's like a neon orange, but I'm not sure. I'm going for like a weird little brownish pink. So this picture is a little dark. It's gonna be a little lighter than that. But this right here is 2 teaspoons of the cocoa powder and 2 drops of the red gel food coloring. I think I'm gonna go 1 more of each and call it good. I'm gonna call that color just about perfect. So now we are ready to assemble. I've already layered them. You just put one down, put the icing in, put the other one, but you can see just how thin these little layers are. Like, it's crazy. It really does remind me more of a brownie batter. And at this point, you're just gonna take more of the icing of the pinkish brownish color, and you're gonna frost the cake as you normally would, top and sides. You want the cake to look homemade. You want it to look kind of like rustic a little bit. We'll use that word. Now, you can, if you want to, take extra icing and put it around the edge. I don't think that that looks very rustic to me, so. Next step, you can do this one of 2 ways. You're gonna need a piping bag so you can put your green and you can spell out your name. You can either do the line across the cake first that looks like it was smashed, or you can write and then piece it in between as you go, whichever way you find easiest. Then you're going to, it's messy, you want it to look messy, but you're going to write out your letters and you're gonna put them definitely not in a straight line and not spelled correctly either. Because you're gonna put happy with 2 E's. And then birthday is also spelled incorrectly. So there you have it. We have completed the entire Harry Potter series and came back around to do one big finale of Harry Potter's birthday cake, the first birthday cake that he ever got. And I think it turned out great. This is actually the 3rd one of these that I've made, because I've made one of these for my son Tristan, one for my son Aiden, and in about 2 more years, I'll be making one for my daughter Brianna. But I do love how they turn out every single time, and I have very much enjoyed doing this Harry Potter series. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any other recommendations below, let me know, because this is it. No more Harry Potter Sundays as of now. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me for the last 8 weeks. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night.